To searches for Sensei in panic and makes sure of his condition. Meanwhile, Jimmy, who sees him, smiles. Jimmy explains that a while ago Sensei was not feeling well. Maybe he missed his mom. Now that To has come, Sensei is much better. Feeling toyed with, To chooses to leave. But Jimmy hugs To. Fat asks why they are still outside. And why they do not go into Jimmy's house. Tae says that To only went to check on Sensei. Tae knows that Fat does not like cats. It is better for them to wait outside. Fat explains that he is just worried To will soften. When Fat is about to go in to check, Tae stops him and immediately hugs Fat. It is better to give To some time. And Tae accidentally blurts out that Jimmy will have a chance. Hearing that, Fat asks what chance. Fat starts threatening Tae to tell him. Tae only smiles. Back to Jimmy. Jimmy says that he knows To was the one who took him home. Flashback to when To came down from his room and saw Jimmy. He took Jimmy home. To could even tell when Jimmy kept murmuring apologies to him. To tried to be strong and not break down. He started greeting Sensei and giving him snacks. Jimmy asks if To was worried about him, which is why he took him home. Jimmy starts kissing To. To releases himself from Jimmy's embrace. To slaps Jimmy and reminds him that he took Jimmy home only because he did not want to wake up and see Jimmy in his house. And the reason To came there was only because Jimmy lied about Sensei. To cares about Sensei, not Jimmy. That was the only time To trusted Jimmy. And Jimmy must never use Sensei to lie to him again. Because To does not like it. When To is about to leave, Jimmy keeps apologizing. He begs To give him one chance. To says that the time is over. When the time ends, everything is finished. To reminds him that after they are done, Jimmy must never show his face to To again. Not even as a friend. And Jimmy himself was the one who said those words. Jimmy only says that he loves To. To does not care and chooses to leave. Outside, Fat asks why Tae did all of that. Tae can only apologize. Fat reminds him that Jimmy keeps hurting To. Now Tae is siding with Jimmy instead of To. Tae explains that he only feels sorry for Jimmy. Fat asks if Tae wants to see To heartbroken again. To arrives and answers that it will never happen again. Sensei is fine. And To asks them to leave immediately. Tae asks about Jimmy. To answers that he came for Sensei, not the owner. Fat smiles at To's firmness and tells Tae to get into the car. Jimmy turns to Sensei. He murmurs that his mom is cruel. Jimmy has tried his best, but To is very stubborn. Jimmy can only cry. The next day at campus, Jimmy is being waited for by Tae. And Tae hits Jimmy on the head. Tae says that he should not have helped Jimmy. Because Fat is angry with him. And does not even let Tae hug him. Tae regrets getting involved in Jimmy's messy problems. Jimmy gently begs Tae. He says that it is just small nagging from his lover. For the sake of his love for his sibling and his love for his friend, Jimmy wants Tae to keep helping him. He is almost successful, and To will surely forgive him. Because Jimmy keeps holding his hand. Tae wants Jimmy to let go. Tae then says that Freeze has asked To be his lover. Jimmy is shocked. He asks what To's answer was. Tae says to let To think about it first. Hearing that, Jimmy believes that To still has feelings for him. Seeing Jimmy's confidence, Tae hits him again. Tae then explains that Dr. Freeze is polite, mature, and has a stable life. Freeze is not a player, and he has a complete green flag. Simply put, Jimmy does not compare. Tay deliberately tells Jimmy, so that later Jimmy will not be too disappointed. Freeze chases after his brother every day. It is only a matter of waiting for Toe to answer his confession. At the cafe, Toe receives a bracelet gift from Freeze. The knitted bracelet is made specially by Freeze. Only for Toe. Toe asks if there is anything Freeze cannot do. Freeze says that he still cannot become Toe's lover. Freeze asks if Toe's heart is starting to soften a little. Toe changes the topic and chooses to make coffee. He thanks Freeze for the gift, while Toe is busy making coffee. Freeze watches him. Jimmy, who stays silent and remembers the beautiful moments with Toe, starts to wonder whether he should keep moving forward or stop. Someone like Jimmy never begs. That would ruin his reputation. But Jimmy misses Toe. What should Jimmy do? His two friends, seeing Jimmy talking to himself, snap him back to reality. They ask if heartbreak has made Jimmy talk to himself. Jimmy excuses himself by saying he is practicing for a presentation. But the exams are over, what presentation is there to prepare? It is the first time Tittle sees Jimmy, the player, lose his composure like this. But Jimmy reminds them that he has always been the one who gets bored and ends things whenever he wants. They both can see that on that night. Jimmy did not go to beg and instead chose to drink with his friends. His friends did see that. But they also saw Jimmy constantly daydreaming. Jimmy has to admit that he really has been discarded. They will not mock Jimmy either, because everyone is already an adult. Jimmy even invites his two friends to make a bet. If they ever see Jimmy begging for Toe to come back, they can take money from him. Jimmy reminds them again. A man like him never begs. The bet is agreed upon. But reality turns out to be different. Jimmy is seen ordering coffee at Toe's cafe. Seeing Toe, Jimmy asks if Toe can draw something on his cup. Toe does not answer, and immediately chooses to deliver Freeze's coffee. Toe coldly glances at Jimmy. Then Toe invites Freeze to go outside to get some fresh air. Toe even holds Freeze's hand. Jimmy stands still, watching what Toe does. That's all for this part. See you in the next part. Thank you for watching. Until then, have a nice day.